About 10 days ago, a Pokemon version of RuneScape blew up on Reddit. There was two main posts. The first one was sharing a tweet made by Demon, the kind of founder of this game, giving a teaser of what is to come. And in that Reddit thread, it got 2.3k upvotes, and there was a ton of comments questioning the legality of this, when it's going to be done, people excited to eventually be able to play this. A lot of childhood dreams were coming true. And then there was a second post that was even bigger, made by the legendary Zahar. That's the guy that uploads all those not safe for work images of those sexy RuneScape ladies, where he had combined Pokemon and RuneScape together, and that got nearly 7k upvotes. And once again, there was a ton of excitement in the comment section. So I really wanted to reach out to Demon and ask him some of these questions that so many people in the Reddit comments were asking. And I even took to my YouTube channel and posted there asking what you guys wanted to ask him. And so I got in contact with him, and well, here's what I learned. The first thing I wanted to know is, what is PokeyScape in his own words? He told me this. He said that PokeyScape is a ROM hack based on the Pokemon Fire Red game, and it can be played on any Game Boy Advanced emulator. He went on to tell me that the game's goal is to encompass what RuneScape has been over the past years, and he further explained this by saying that there'll be plenty of references to things that have happened throughout the years in the game. I thought that was a really exciting vision, but I always like to get a bit of a background, so the next thing I asked him is, what were you doing before PokeyScape that led to this? And he told me, quote, "Not much really, but before PokeyScape, I used to make some pretty cheesy RuneScape machinima videos on my YouTube account. And if you go back and actually look at those, as early as 2011, he was making Pokemon-themed RuneScape machinima videos. And maybe that's where this idea actually started to form." He went on to tell me that he also created a game called 2DScape, and he actually posted a video of that in 2013. And when I first saw that video, I wasn't blown away or amazed, but I was surprised by the level of detail and content that he had actually added to it. And furthermore, it really solidified how much passion this guy has behind creating these kind of RuneScape spin-offs and recreations, with his own imagination put into them. Be it these video games he's been making or the machinima videos that he's been making, he's been doing this now for nearly a decade. And so I think that he might actually just be dedicated enough to actually finish PokeyScape to a level where it's playable and enjoyable. Okay, and so to finish off that plot, I wanted to know finally, how did PokeyScape actually start? He told me that he started working on PokeyScape because he found playing with ROM hacks fun. He said that he experimented with them for a while and then eventually ended up deciding on making a RuneScape one for his own entertainment. The next thing that I wanted to know is, how far along is development? And he told me this. He said that the team has done a fair bit of work so far, but he can't really give specifics on how far along they are. Though he said they're close to having a demo out. Now, for those of you that are really hungry to get a taste of PokeyScape, this actually isn't the end of the world, because I noticed they've been posting test builds of PokeyScape in their Discord server. What that means is that right now you can actually go and download the game and play it. But keep in mind, once again, this is a test build that they've been publishing. Demon actually wrote this with the latest one. Quote, "This is not a demo, but a really, really, really messy work on ROM." I downloaded it and played it, and you've been seeing some of that footage in this video. I ended up getting actually stuck. I don't know if the game goes any farther than where I got, but anyways, maybe some of you will have more luck with it. Admittedly, I'm not the best at Pokemon. The next thing that I asked him was the big question that everybody seems to have whenever you're looking at any discussion around PokeyScape. And what that is copyright. Nintendo is notorious for going after anybody that's making any money off of their content and copywriting that thing straight into the ground. And so I wanted to know if Demon had anything to say on that subject. And he told me this. He said, "I do not plan to sell this nor commercially distribute this in any way, so I'm not really fussed about it." He said that even if it did, for whatever reason, get removed because of copyright, he'd still probably work on it for himself. And I believe the guy. It's clear that he has passion behind creating this thing, for his own enjoyment. And it makes me sad that there's a very high likelihood that Nintendo will pursue legal action against the release of PokéScape because they're simply notorious for doing that type of thing. I mean, for the longest time, you couldn't even upload YouTube videos of Nintendo games without them putting their copyright stamp on your video and taking all of the ad money away from it. Anyways, what do you guys think will happen in regards to Nintendo and PokéScape? Do you think they're going to pursue some sort of action to stop the public release of this? Or do you think that it's so small it'll just kind of fly under the radar? You know, one comment that I saw is that things on the internet exist forever, so once a release of PokéScape is out there, it's gonna really be out there forever, no matter what they do. And you know, personally, I think that is just a little heartwarming. My next question for Demon was how many people are working on this, and he told me this. He said that for the Game Boy Advance version, there are currently 3 main helpers: Hyperstan, Iris Orchestra, and himself. He told me that Hyperstan has done the majority of the amazing sprite/pixel artwork, Iris Orchestra has made the fantastic music, and he himself dips into everything as much as he can. He also told me that they've had a lot of input from various sources from the community, and what he means by that is if you look at their Discord server, they take suggestions there. If you look at the Twitter channels for PokéScape, they're taking suggestions there. The Reddit posts they've made. Anytime somebody has a good idea, it's normally acknowledged in some way. You know, they're saying like, hey, that is a good idea, and we're going to try to put that in the game because we like that. And so that's cool, because if you want to get involved and active with PokéScape, I mean, just go do it, because they're open to your discussion. On top of that, I wanted to know if people could volunteer to help with PokéScape, because everyone that's doing it currently isn't being paid. You know, they're all volunteers themselves, and this is what I found out. So in their Discord server, underneath the PokéScape Game Boy Advance section, they have a to-do list, and that is basically just a section with things that need to be done. And if you want to go there and do some of those things and then post them in the server, if they're good enough, they'll actually use them in the game. Right now, looking at one of their current to-do list, it looks like they have a big need for art. Like here they're requesting, or they're saying that they don't have a front, a back, or a party sprite for the giant mole. They don't have that for Jad, and a whole bunch of other NPCs from RuneScape. Another thing that he told me on his own accord is that they're actually looking at making something which they're dubbing UnityScape. And that's being developed in Unity, and that's super exciting because Unity is a much more formal game engine. People actually make real games with Unity. It's not like hacking a ROM. And so I'm curious to see where that thing eventually goes. It looks like they're going for a 2D Pokemon theme with that one as well. He told me that a guy going by the name of It's Mike has been doing a lot of the grunt work for that one so far, and that they've only begun to really set out ideas for that one. Although he told me that he's not really focusing on it much himself because all of his attention right now is on the Game Boy Advance version. Anyways, guys, that's all I had for this interview. It was a short one. The final thing that I asked him was, for those who want to follow the project, where should I direct them? And he gave me a whole bunch of Twitter links, the Discord server, and some YouTube channels that you guys can look at if you're interested. They're all in the description below. Also, we're coming up on 30,000 subscribers, which blows my mind. Thank you all so much. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. And until next time, love, peace, and chicken grease.